First, review the issues that require intervention and then consider the solutions that will be applied. Miss Gregory is an outstanding school principal whose exceptional performance led the ministry to appoint her to the region's Transformational Team. In this role, she is assigned to low-performing schools to help them achieve improved academic and operational standards. Once the school reaches the expected level of success, she transitions to another institution. She typically remains at a school for no more than 2 calendar years. The initiative has shown strong results, and several of her colleagues, including a former vice principal, also serve on this team. Recently, Ms. Gregory was transferred to a new school where she identified several major concerns. Teacher behaviors that negatively impact literacy development, a physical school environment that is not conducive to learning, a poorly managed budgeting system, unpaid bills, disconnected electricity, low student performance in mathematics and science. Community members loitering near the school and engaging in activities that attract students and encourage class skipping. Ms. Gregory will create a comprehensive plan to address these issues. Clearly outline and discuss the order in which each problem should be tackled. Who should she meet with first, and for what reason? Should law enforcement or the education officer be involved? How will she initiate the change management process?
As a principal assigned to the region's Transformational Leadership Team, my role is to assess, stabilize, and strengthen low-performing schools so they can meet the required standards of excellence. The project is designed so that once growth is achieved, I transition to another institution in need. Having recently been transferred to a new school, a preliminary assessment revealed 5 major challenges: teacher behaviors that hinder literacy growth, a deteriorating physical plant, a malfunctioning budget system, low academic performance in mathematics and science, and community interference that distracts students from learning. Each issue poses a barrier to student achievement and requires a strategic, organized, and collaborative response. The purpose of this plan is to present a clear sequence of actions, explain the rationale behind each decision, identify the stakeholders involved, and outline the change management processes necessary to produce lasting improvement. In addressing these matters, I must balance urgency with structure, ensuring that immediate needs are met while long-term reforms are put in place. In transformational work, the order in which problems are addressed determines the speed and quality of improvement. For that reason, the first issue I must address is the behavior and instructional practices of teachers. Teachers are the central agents of learning, and without their alignment and support, no academic reform can succeed. My initial meeting will therefore be with the entire teaching staff. During this session, I will discuss expectations, professional responsibilities, and the literacy priorities that guide the school's improvement plan. The second issue requiring immediate attention is the malfunctioning budget system. Upon arrival, I discovered unpaid bills, disorganized records, and a disconnected electricity supply. These conditions disrupt teaching and send a message of instability to staff and students. Meeting with the bursar, school accountant, and the regional education officer will be essential to restore financial order and to identify the cause of the system breakdown. The third issue involves the physical school plant. Several classrooms are unsuitable for learning because of poor ventilation, broken furniture, and inadequate sanitation. Students cannot perform academically in an environment that is unsafe or uncomfortable. Once the financial system begins stabilizing, repairs and upgrades to the plant can be prioritized. The fourth issue is the continued low grades in mathematics and science. These subjects require specialized strategies, ongoing assessment, and consistent student support. After strengthening literacy practices and stabilizing the core operations of the school, I will collaborate with department heads to restructure the teaching approach.
Following this meeting, I will conduct a series of classroom walkthroughs to observe teaching practices, levels of student engagement, and the use of literacy strategies across the curriculum. These observations will guide the formation of a professional development plan. Teachers will receive training in guided reading, differentiated instruction, vocabulary development, questioning techniques, and the integration of literacy into subject-specific lessons. This approach ensures that every teacher, regardless of department, is contributing to literacy improvement. The reason for addressing teacher behavior first is that no school can improve without consistent, high-quality instruction. Teachers set the academic climate, influence student motivation, and shape learning outcomes. If their practices do not align with best standards, academic progress will be hindered. Addressing this issue early also creates a sense of collective responsibility and signals to the staff that improvement begins with them. In addition, I will establish weekly literacy team meetings where teachers analyze student data, identify learning gaps, and modify their lesson plans accordingly. Peer observation sessions will also be implemented so teachers can learn from colleagues with strong literacy practices. To support accountability, follow-up walkthroughs will be scheduled twice monthly to track progress. My education officer will be consulted throughout this phase to ensure alignment with regional strategies and to secure additional training resources if needed. The second major issue is the extremely low-functioning budget system. A school cannot operate effectively without a stable financial structure. Unpaid bills, missing receipts, and disconnected electricity are evidence of deeper issues involving poor record-keeping, weak accountability, and possibly a lack of training in financial management. Within the first 2 weeks, I will meet with the bursar, school accountant, administrative staff, and the regional education officer to conduct a full audit of the financial system. This audit will help determine whether the budgetary issues stem from mismanagement, lack of oversight, or inadequate knowledge of the ministry's financial procedures. Once these findings are documented, I will work with the team to reorganize the financial system by implementing standardized documentation procedures, monthly budget reports, and clear payment schedules to avoid future disconnection of utilities.
Stabilizing the budget early is essential because it supports every other area of improvement. Without functional electricity, internet access, or classroom supplies, teachers cannot teach effectively and students cannot learn comfortably. Restoring financial order also helps rebuild stakeholder confidence and sets the stage for the necessary repairs to the physical plant. Throughout this phase, I will maintain communication with the ministry's finance division to ensure compliance with regulations and to request support where necessary. The third area of focus is the physical condition of the school plant. A learning environment must be safe, clean, and conducive to teaching if students are to thrive academically. During my initial walkthrough of the campus, I observed broken furniture, damaged windows, inadequate lighting, and unsanitary bathroom facilities. These conditions not only hinder student focus, but also contribute to low morale among staff and learners. After stabilizing the budget system, I will begin the process of rehabilitating the plant. My first step will be to engage the Ministry of Education's infrastructure team to conduct a full assessment of the campus. Their evaluation will help determine which repairs are most urgent and how funds can be allocated efficiently. Once the assessment is completed, I will meet with the Parent Teacher Association and community stakeholders to explore opportunities for volunteer support, small-scale fundraising, and partnerships with local businesses for material donations. Repairs will be prioritized based on the level of impact on student safety and learning. Classrooms requiring improved ventilation, repaired desks, or new whiteboards will be addressed first. Restroom facilities will also be upgraded, as they are essential to student health and dignity. After addressing these basic needs, attention will shift to repainting, landscaping, and general beautification to create an inviting atmosphere. Improving the physical plant is essential because a positive environment increases student motivation and teacher pride. Clean and well-maintained classrooms communicate order, stability, and a belief that students deserve quality. Research consistently shows that students who learn in structured, visually appealing environments demonstrate higher engagement and improved academic performance. For this reason, plant improvement is positioned as the third step in the overall plan, raising academic achievement in mathematics and science. The fourth issue concerns the low grades in mathematics and science. These subjects are vital for students' career opportunities and national development. Once literacy practices are strengthened and the school environment is stabilized, academic improvement in these areas becomes a central focus.
After analyzing the data, we will design intervention programs that may include after-school tutoring, Saturday classes, small group instruction, and targeted revision sessions for students performing below grade level. Lesson plans will be reviewed weekly to ensure alignment with curriculum standards, and teachers will receive support in integrating more hands-on activities, visual aids, and real-life applications to help students grasp complex concepts. Additionally, I will partner with the education officer to secure instructional coaches who specialize in mathematics and science. These coaches will model effective teaching strategies, support teachers in planning lessons, and guide them in using assessment tools to measure student progress. Frequent data meetings will ensure that interventions remain responsive to student needs. Improving performance in these subjects is particularly important because they are often used as major indicators of a school's overall academic standing. When mathematics and science results improve, it boosts student confidence, increases school pride, and strengthens the institution's reputation within the community. The fifth issue involves the persistent presence of community residents loitering near the school compound. Their activities, which include playing games and creating excitement, attract students and encourage them to skip classes. This situation poses a serious threat to school discipline, safety, and academic focus. Although this issue is significant, it is positioned after the internal school matters because successful engagement with the community requires a stable and unified internal leadership team. My first step in addressing this concern will be to meet with the school's security personnel to determine the extent of the problem and identify the times of day when loitering is most frequent. I will then schedule meetings with community leaders, including members of the Citizens Association, pastors, and influential residents, to discuss how the school and community can work together to establish boundaries while maintaining positive relationships. Law enforcement will be involved to support the enforcement of no loitering zones and to increase patrols during peak times. Their presence will send a strong message that the school environment must remain secure and free from distractions. However, the goal is not to criminalize community members, but to create awareness that their activities negatively affect student learning. Therefore, communication will be firm but respectful, emphasizing the mutual benefits of maintaining a peaceful school perimeter.
To further discourage students from leaving classes, I will implement strict attendance monitoring and introduce structured lunchtime activities such as supervised games, clubs, and mentorship circles. Giving students meaningful and engaging options reduces the temptation to engage with outside distractions. Teachers and grade coordinators will also increase hallway supervision during transition periods to ensure students remain within designated areas. Leading transformational change requires a deliberate and structured approach. To activate the change management process, I will begin by establishing a shared vision with staff, students, parents, and community partners. This vision will be communicated through meetings, assemblies, and written documents that outline the goals for literacy improvement, academic excellence, financial stability, and school safety. Once the vision is clear, I will create a change management committee composed of teachers, department heads, administrative staff, and selected student leaders. This committee will assist in monitoring progress, identifying new challenges, and adjusting strategies where necessary. Their involvement ensures that change is not imposed from the top, but developed collaboratively, increasing buy-in and reducing resistance. Communication will remain consistent throughout the process. Weekly updates, staff bulletins, and student announcements will help maintain transparency and keep stakeholders informed. Recognizing and celebrating small victories is also essential to sustaining motivation. Teachers who demonstrate improved instructional practices will be acknowledged in meetings, and students who show academic growth will be rewarded through certificates, assemblies, or mentorship incentives. Every stage of the change process will be documented to ensure accountability and to provide a roadmap for ongoing improvement even after my departure from the institution. The combination of collaboration, clear communication, consistent monitoring, and public acknowledgement of progress will contribute to a school culture that embraces growth and continuous development. Engaging stakeholders and strengthening accountability structures. Transformational success depends heavily on the involvement and cooperation of all stakeholders. To ensure sustained progress, I will initiate structured engagement with parents, staff, students, community members, and ministry officials. Parents will be invited to information sessions where the challenges and improvement plans are explained. These sessions will help foster transparency and create opportunities for parents to support learning at home. Strong parental involvement is particularly beneficial in improving literacy, homework completion, and overall student discipline.
Teachers will participate actively in decision-making processes through professional learning communities and monthly department reviews. This shared leadership model gives them ownership of the changes taking place and encourages them to uphold the standards set for instruction and classroom management. Each department head will submit monthly reports highlighting student progress, teacher attendance, resource needs, and instructional challenges. These reports will help create a system of accountability that ensures goals are being met. Students are also important stakeholders whose voices must be acknowledged. Through prefect meetings, class representatives, and student groups, I will encourage them to share their concerns regarding school operations, safety, and academic difficulties. This fosters a sense of responsibility and belonging, which is essential in keeping them engaged in school activities. Students who feel valued are more likely to stay in class and take pride in their academic efforts. At the community level, ongoing communication will help maintain a positive relationship. After initial meetings with residents and law enforcement, I will schedule quarterly community forums to review progress and address any emerging concerns. These forums allow the school and the wider community to collaborate on maintaining a safe and supportive environment for students. A strong school-community partnership reinforces order, reduces external distractions, and promotes a positive school culture. Ensuring sustainability of the transformation process. Sustainable school transformation requires systems that continue functioning even after leadership transitions. My goal is not only to implement improvements, but also to ensure that the school can maintain these gains long after I move on to another institution. To achieve sustainability, the school must have clear procedures, reliable systems, and trained personnel who can uphold the structure. For literacy improvement, sustainability will be achieved through the continued use of data meetings, literacy team sessions, and regular professional development workshops. Teachers who master effective literacy strategies will mentor new or struggling colleagues, creating internal expertise that does not depend on external support. Financial sustainability will be ensured through accurate bookkeeping, scheduled audits, and adherence to ministry protocols. Staff responsible for budget management will receive additional training to strengthen their competence, leaving the school with a stable financial framework that can support future operations. Academic gains in mathematics and science will be sustained through ongoing curriculum planning, consistent use of diagnostic assessments, and collaboration with subject specialists.
Sustainability and school safety will depend on strong partnerships with law enforcement, community members, and parents. Once routines and expectations are established, they will become part of the school culture, reducing disruptions and promoting order. A comprehensive framework for school turnaround. The transformation of a low-performing school requires intentional leadership, structured planning, and strong collaboration among all stakeholders. Upon entering this institution, the 5 critical challenges observed: teacher behaviors affecting literacy, a deteriorating school plant, a dysfunctional budget system, low academic performance in mathematics and science, and disruptive community loitering were indicators of a system in distress. Through a systematic and carefully prioritized intervention plan, each issue can be addressed in a way that strengthens the school's foundation and promotes long-term growth. Beginning with teacher behaviors ensures that the core of instruction is properly aligned. Teachers shape student outcomes, determine the quality of classroom experiences, and influence the school's learning culture. By supporting them through training, coaching, and accountability systems, the school secures the first pillar of its transformation. Restoring the budget system follows as the second priority because financial stability is required for all other improvements. When bills are paid and the school regains access to electricity and essential services, both teaching and learning become more consistent and effective. Improving the physical school plan creates an environment where students feel safe, valued, and motivated to learn. A clean and well-maintained school communicates organization, pride, and respect for education. Once literacy strengthens, the environment stabilizes, and finances are restored, targeted interventions in mathematics and science can effectively take root. Raising achievement in these subjects is essential for students' future opportunities and strengthens the school's academic profile. Addressing community loitering ensures that students remain focused and protected throughout the school day. Through strategic partnerships with law enforcement, community leaders, and parents, the school will regain control of its perimeter and reduce the distractions that have historically encouraged absenteeism and class skipping. The change management process will be anchored by clear communication, shared decision-making, consistent monitoring, and celebration of progress. By engaging teachers, parents, students, community members, and ministry officials, the school will cultivate a culture that embraces growth and holds itself accountable for excellence. Sustainability will be achieved by building strong internal systems and empowering staff to continue the work beyond my tenure.